Well, hello. Hello, everybody. Hello, and welcome, one and all. Welcome, everybody, to TV Talk, the new nerd in town. It is Sunday. It has been a long week. It's been Thanksgiving. Happy belated Thanksgiving to all of you who celebrate. To all of you who don't celebrate, we just eat a lot. And we say we're thankful for things, but, sometimes we have our fingers crossed behind our backs. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. It's been a while. It has certainly been a while. Just going to lower my seat a little bit. There we go. If you don't know who I am, I'll tell you, everybody. I'll tell everybody right now. My name's Dave. I'm the new nerd. This is the new nerd in town. This is TV Talk. Episode 13, Attack of the Nerds. If you haven't figured out what my titles are yet, by all means, keep watching. You'll figure it out soon enough. All right? I have faith in everyone, but you will figure it out soon enough. Welcome, everybody, to this week's wonderful episode of the new Nerd in Town TV Talk. Going to be doing some unconventional stuff this week. I know I've missed a lot. I haven't been feeling well. As you probably can hear, I will be coughing at some point. I sound like my nose has been plugged by 3 different kinds of liquids. And I'm actually starting an hour early this week, tonight at least, just tonight, because sleep is something I need. Sleep is something I haven't been getting. So I figured 2 birds, 1 stone, do the stream early, get some sleep, and then I'll be back Wednesday night at my regular time at 8 o'clock because, ladies and gentlemen, we are in mid-season finale mode. That's right. We have started with our mid-season finales for a lot of the shows that I've been talking about this fall. Only one show tonight is already in its mid-season finale, whereas the other shows are starting tonight. Like tonight, The Walking Dead has their mid-season finale. Tomorrow night, Gotham will have their mid-season finale. And if you are a huge fan of the DC Universe or just a fan of comics in general, like myself, even though I don't read them that much, you are going to get a sneak peek look at Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice. Only if you watch Gotham live. So I might have to sacrifice my whole no cord cutting thing, glue the cord together, and watch Gotham live. We'll see what happens, but as of right now, to see it is to see it. But I will definitely see it, see the sneak peek, obviously, before Wednesday, and we'll discuss it then, because now that the TV shows are starting to die down a little bit, we'll pick up some new TV shows to talk about, of course, because this is a TV talk, but we're also going to do some discussion about some of the movies coming out. Now, this past week in particular, we've been getting a lot of footage for the Star Wars Force Awakens. It's actually a lot of the same footage, a couple new lines here and there and stuff like that. We'll discuss it a little bit tonight, but for anyone out there who is a major Star Wars fan, I have to tell you, December 16th, that Wednesday, right before The Force Awakens comes out, that will be a very special episode of The New Nerd in Town. That will not just be TV talk, it will be Star Wars talk. I will go through every single movie that has come out, pretty much everything that is now new in the canon universe, and hopefully prepare myself and prepare you for The Force Awakens release, which will be Friday, December 18th. I'm super excited for that movie. Every time they come out with a new trailer, I watch it at least 3 or 4 times, even just a TV spot. It's the same footage, but I have to say, what they're releasing, the footage is great, and yet it has told me nothing about the movie. I do have some speculations, but I'm not going to get into them now, only because it would just ruin that December 16th show. So, Another trailer that was released this week, it was actually a surprise because a lot of people thought this trailer would be released with The Force Awakens, and that's Captain America Civil War, the next chapter in the Marvel Universe. Now, we left off with Ant-Man, which I finally saw this weekend. And I gotta say, Ant-Man was a fantastic movie. Great standalone. Marvel, this is, I think, the second movie that's tied into the MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but it's a standalone movie. So it's not Iron Man, it's not Thor, it's not Captain America, and it's not Avengers. The first movie that was released in this MCU extended universe was Guardians of the Galaxy with Chris Pratt, Zoe Saldana, and Dave Bautista, and Bradley Cooper. So that was the first movie in the extended universe. Everything will come together eventually, hopefully in I think it was Avengers Infinity Wars 1 and 2. So we'll see like the Guardians of the Galaxy and the Avengers all come together maybe in those movies. But for right now, they are considered two separate entities under the Marvel name, which is under Disney. Again, I'm really sorry that I sound like this. But anyway, so Ant-Man is the second of those movies to come out where it's tied, but it's a standalone movie. Meaning you might see some characters from the Avengers movies. You'll definitely get like hints dropped in, but it was masterfully done. The only thing I knew about Ant-Man from the comics is what I've seen on YouTube and all that kind of stuff, where Hank Pym is actually Ant-Man, and actually Hank Pym is the reason why is one of the creators of Ultron. But the way that the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the MCU, I'm just going to say MCU for the rest of the show, the way that the MCU is going, they're obviously making Tony Stark the creator of Ultron, as we noticed from Avengers: Age of Ultron, and Bruce Banner, who is the Hulk. So Ant-Man, great movie, great pickup lines. Again, if you haven't seen the movie, I think it's coming out on DVD and Blu-ray this upcoming week, but they released it digitally first, so I was able to catch it digitally. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I'm super excited to see what they're doing. But in other news, going back to what they released this week, Captain America Civil War. Now, Civil War is the only comic series I've actually read from beginning to end. So when I found out that the third Captain America movie was titled Civil War, I was excited because it's a masterfully written comic book series. It actually kept my attention for more than like 2 or 3 pages. Now, the cinematic universe, obviously, it's when I first heard that they were going to do Civil War, I knew it was going to be just a feat to try to get this storyline in. And I kind of forgot when I first watched the Captain America Civil War trailer, I completely forgot that they're kind of going on their own thing right now. They're making their own story, but they're kind of keeping like the behind the scenes themes of Civil War going. Now, I got too caught up in the details, and I wasn't really too much of a fan of this movie. The only thing I was really a fan of the trailer was the fact that it was going to keep up with this dark tone that was set in Captain America Winter Soldier. I'm sorry, let me take it back even further to Iron Man 3. Iron Man 3 had really started the like downward spiral slash the like kind of negative tone of the Avengers and everything like that. It followed up with Captain America Winter Soldier, Thor the Dark World, and then Avengers Age of Ultron. They all became kind of a darker toned movie. And this is keeping up with it, hopefully, with obviously being now the split of friendships between Captain America and Iron Man. And I got caught up in the details, and at first I wasn't really happy with what they were doing with Captain America Civil War, because they weren't keeping true to Civil War the comic. However, if you look at it from the point of view of what they're doing in the cinematic universe, it looks like it's going to be another awesome movie. That's because how they're doing it in the cinematic universe compared to what they've done already in the cinematic universe, Civil War will be great. And that was a mistake on my part, where they were enforcing in the comics. They enforce the government enforces all mutants, heroes, whatever you want to call them, superheroes, Evos, whatever. They had the Superhuman Act, in which they wanted all superhumans and heroes and anyone in masks to basically register with the U.S. government so that they could keep tabs on them. Well, Tony Stark, everybody knew, was Iron Man in the comics. So he was on the side of the U.S. government. However, Captain America was not. Now, that all started from one event in which the new Avengers accidentally put their pride and put their vanity in front of actually being heroes. And they killed a lot of innocent people. So, a horrible accident had happened, and now the U.S. government is implementing this law with the help of Tony Stark / Iron Man, and Captain America is completely against this. Now, he did fight in World War II, and he's seen this before, so he's completely against it. So that's kind of where this whole Civil War comes from. Now, I'm not going to spoil anything else. I'm not going to say anything else. We'll have to wait till the movie to see how they do it in the cinematic universe. And it looks like in the cinematic universe, it's all focused around Bucky. Bucky, if you've seen the second Captain America, is the Winter Soldier, a former friend and former ally of Captain America, who was presumed dead, but was found by Hydra, or what was left of Hydra, and was brainwashed into becoming one of their best secret agents. And they reconstructed his left arm with the red star on it, symbolizing that he was part of the Russian faction of Hydra. In Captain America, the Winter Soldier, they start looking for Bucky. And even in the Avengers Age of Ultron movie, you do see Anthony Mackie reprise his role as the Falcon, only to update Steve Rogers / Captain America on his hunt for Bucky. And then Ant-Man, you see Anthony Mackie come back again, and I think he's an awesome Falcon. There really has not been any iteration of Falcon, but he's doing a great job as is. I have to catch up on Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. To see what they're doing, but I did read an article this past week too that they're gonna try to separate the TV entities with the movie entities. Now, I want to say the TV entities really didn't affect the movies that much, other than the fact that the seasons began where the movies left off, and the seasons end where the movies pick up. And they did that pretty well. Like, I nearly forced myself to go see Age of Ultron and the Captain America Winter Soldier just so I can watch the season finale and of seasons 1 and 2 of Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., just to see how they all kind of connect together. So we'll see. We will see. Sorry about that. I'm fidgety. We will definitely get to see everything that's going on. But as far as the first trailer goes, Captain America: Civil War. After watching it again, you have gained my respect. You have gained my respect, which is probably not a lot, but I like to think it is. I definitely like to think it is. As far as other news goes, there is plenty of hype still going around about Star Wars The Force Awakens. As you can see, this is like the first night I'm wearing a t-shirt, and I'm wearing a... it's going through, but I'm wearing a, like, many words of Chewbacca. Chewie, who's reprising his own role, Peter Mayhew, who is reprising his role as Chewbacca, will in fact be in The Force Awakens, and I just gotta say, I'm like, without getting into too much detail or fangirling too much, I am really, really excited for The Force Awakens. It looks and feels like the original trilogy should, in a way that it should, where it's just as analog and just as great. I've been rewatching the original trilogy. Unfortunately, it's a special edition because it's the only one I could get my hands on. But I have to say, the analog stuff that they did looks just... it still gets me. It still gets me. I don't care if the Millennium Falcon was a ship on a stick going through space, but it was totally awesome. It was totally awesome to watch. But now, let's get into what we're actually here for, all right? I mean, you want it. I know you want it. I want it. Let's get into it. Ladies and gentlemen, let us start with a show that aired 2 weeks ago. Didn't air it this week, but it is American Horror Story Hotel. Now, on the last episode of American Horror Story Hotel, because it wasn't last week, but last episode of American Horror Story Hotel, we got to learn a little bit more about the Countess and how she became to be her. Found out she was an actress back in the 20s, and she was a person in the background who had dreams and wanted to make it a star in Los Angeles. And she came across this other already famous actor who was just dashing. And he was an Italian guy and young looking and all sorts of stuff. Married as well. Now, he had a bit of a dark secret. And the beginning of the episode, you see the new owner of the hotel coming through, and he's trying to make use. He's basically doing his walkthrough of like, all right, these are all the people that are coming in. All right, cool, great, wonderful. And he's got his construction workers there, and they're breaking down stuff, and they discover a secret passage that is blocked up. And, well, he tells them the only sensible thing that he needs to tell them, and that's break down those walls. Get into that area and break down the walls. Sorry. We then run into these two zombie-looking people that, like, yikes. Absolutely scared the crap out of me. And they jump up and they attack the construction workers. And they just look hellish. Absolutely hellish. They attack them. They start sucking their blood. So now you're sitting there like, well, I guess they're vampires as well. I think they're just part of the whole vampire thing. And we find out that the Countess, whose actual name is Elizabeth, and I'm sure we've seen that before, um, the Countess, well, she falls in love with this Italian actor, and he then kills himself. I I mean, it's it's a sad story, but it had to happen. So, um, he in his absence, Elizabeth, the Countess, she marries a man by the name of James March, who is the owner of the Hotel Cortez, and she discovers his, let's just say, wild antics, and makes him, and it becomes sort of his partner in his torturous and murderous ways of the Hotel Cortez. Now, while all this is going on, she then discovers that, well, the first guy that she was in love with, this, I think his name was Valentino. The first guy, yeah, Valentino, this first Italian actor that she had in love with, faked his death and found out that he was, in fact, an immortal person. And told her of all of his ways and everything about him and his wife, who is also an immortal woman, and exclaimed to her that while he was away shooting a movie in a foreign country himself, a man had tracked him down and said that you are the perfect specimen for this. And lo and behold, Elizabeth cannot get enough of it, and she begs him to become immortal. So she does so, and her husband, James March, is not quite pleasant with this. Um, oh, God. Not quite happy with all of this. So what does he do? Well, he locks up the actor and his wife in the hotel in a hallway for years and years and years. Now, they're immortal, but their looks and their just general healthy physical health, it all kind of revolves around being able to feed. Now, they weren't able to feed since the 30s, 40s. So that's why at the beginning of the episode, they look like something out of The Walking Dead. And they accidentally get released and they start feeding on anyone and everyone they could get their hands on. Finally, towards the end of the episode, they check back into the hotel, looking as young and as vibrant as they did back in the 20s and 30s. Meanwhile, John, our leading protagonist slash detective slash guy going crazy because he's losing his wife to the hotel, lost his son, he's just having a bad day. He checks himself into a local hospital. I mean, he checked himself out of the hotel. I mean, why would you check yourself back into a hotel, right? So he checks himself into a hospital out of fear of him going a little crazy. Just a little bit. He's going a lot crazy, but it's just a little bit. Meanwhile, he still thinks he can help on the case of the Ten Commandments killer. He's so close, just so close to getting there, but it's just not working out for him. While he's at the hospital, he discovers a girl. Now, he doesn't know who this girl is. I don't know if we ever get a name, but she then professes to him in a elaborate fashion, an elaborate story, that she is an accomplice to the Ten Commandment killer. Now, this is a huge break in a case that John is nearly getting himself kicked off of. And my heart goes out to him. Because this is the case that he needs. This is the case that will keep him focused. But it's just not happening for him. It's not going his way. He is too sick and too distracted is a better word, for doing this case. So this episode was, we're coming up to the mid-season finale of these shows, and we did find out that American Horror Story did get picked up for season 6. So now everybody's going to start looking for connections, any sort of connections that they can find. And we've already had a couple of connections to Murder House. And apparently some other connections that maybe I have missed from the other 3 seasons. And the show's doing great. Again, this episode aired 2 weeks ago because we didn't get an episode because the holiday, something like that. It was Wednesday night. I mean, come on, just show the episode. But anyway, so we did get to see a little bit more of the Countess and how she's been dealt not the best of hands. I mean, we already know that she's got a bit of jealous tendencies. She did kill Trip in order to, or Tristan, because she was jealous of Liz and Tristan's love. She did kill Ramona's boyfriend and pretty much everyone in that recording studio out of jealousy because she wanted Ramona and could not get her. So there's a lot of, there's just a lot of tension going on around the Countess, and she has this baby in room 33 that we all know about, but she's also still, to me, has this huge mystery around her. Like, what is her ultimate goal? We know she likes money, and she's marrying, she wants to marry Drake, the new owner of the hotel, so she could get his money. Then she'll kill him so she could be rich again. But I mean, is it all because she wants the rich and fame, and this is how she'll live? I mean, she'll keep looking young and vibrant if she keeps feeding. And I guess the hotel maybe is a good way for her to keep up this young and vibrant personality. The whole backstory to her was great, and then finding out about Valentino and how Valentino mixed into all this thing, bringing them back, which will definitely be interesting to see as it would definitely be interesting to see how Valentino now plays now that he's back. That him and his wife have escaped their horrible, horrible prison. So, I gotta say, it was a very good, very refreshing episode. It was 2 weeks ago that I watched it, so it was a while ago. But I gotta say, I was very happy with the way I'm extremely happy with how Lady Gaga is doing. She's a terrific musical artist. I know she made the the music that she made was great. And she did some great duet work with Tony Bennett. She's just a very talented woman. And now you get to see her acting chops. And if you really want to see how her talent how far her talent goes, watch her Sound of Music tribute that she did for Julie Andrews. Absolutely phenomenal. And as far as an actress goes, she's doing a great job, especially coming into this heavily together cast, and heavily how do I say this? Heavily familiarized cast. A bunch of cast members that have just been doing stuff for 5 years now. And she just comes right in, and it's not the Lady Gaga show with everybody else, or it's not American Horror Story with Lady Gaga. It is American Horror Story altogether. And she just happens to be front and center for this. So I gotta say, I'm really happy with how things are going with it, and she just seems to be doing such a great job in it. By no means is this a love letter to Lady Gaga, but I have to say she is absolutely knocking it out of the park, and it's just doing it for me. It is just doing it for me. So yeah. Man, sorry, ladies and gentlemen. This is, whew. So let's see. Where should I go next? Oh, I think I